Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then don't forget to click on the subscribe button because trust me, you will find my videos both intriguing and interesting at the same time. Give this video a thumbs up by simply tapping on the like button, and most importantly, feel free to be part of the conversation by simply sharing your thoughts in the comment section down below. With that said, let's get into today's video. Now with me today, I have some breaking news which is causing a buzz on social media, making Tim Scott the spotlight after a video went viral. Now you guys won't believe that the United States Senator Tim Scott endorsed his former rival Donald Trump for the Republican nomination for president. Yes, he did, in a setback for Trump's closest challenger and fellow South Carolinian Nikki Haley. Now in this video, Tim Scott is seen and heard screaming that America needs a president like Donald Trump. Yes, he said that. Now while at it, Scott caught my attention the moment he said we need a president who doesn't see black and white to mean Donald Trump. But hey, it is what it is. Check out this interesting video. I will be right back, and when I do, we get to talk more about this interesting topic.
We need a president who will close our southern border today. We need Donald Trump. We need a president. We need a president who will unite our country. We need Donald Trump. We need a president who will protect your Social Security and my mama's Social Security. We need Donald Trump. We need a president today who will stop the crime and recklessness in the streets. We need a president who will restore law and order. We need Donald Trump. Oh, we need a president who will lower our taxes and not raise our taxes. We need a president like Donald Trump. We need a president who understands the American people are sick and tired of being sick and tired. We need a president our foreign adversaries are afraid of and our allies respect. We need, you see, we need a president who doesn't see black or white. We see a president who sees Americans as one American family. We need. And that's why I came to the very warm state of New Hampshire to endorse the next president of these United States, President Donald Trump.
Now, this just got me wondering if really Tim Scott was ever serious about becoming American president. But before we even go there, did he just say America is not our to the cyst, as in Donald Trump doesn't view America like that? How could he even do that to somebody who appointed him as senator? Now, I just don't understand how Tim Scott can't realize that even Donald Trump himself is so disappointed in him, because he even clearly states to say, even though she appointed you to senator and started your political career, you endorsed me. Now, honestly, what Donald Trump was trying to do here is just making fun of Tim Scott indirectly, and this should have taught him something. But it looks like all Tim wants is just to be a VP. I mean, I think he has hopes to say Donald Trump will make him his VP, which I strongly doubt that can happen. But check out these videos and hear what people had to say about this issue.
Are not our kinfolk. So there you go. We'll see where this goes. This just in, Tim Scott has just endorsed your boy, his master, Donald Trump. Of course, we expected Uncle Tim, whatever, to endorse Donald Trump, right? Never mind the fact that Nikki Haley is the only reason why he's the black Republican senator in the United States Senate. She appointed him to that position. But he forgot his fellow South Carolinian, and he went where he saw opportunity, right, to be in the House. This is finally his opportunity to get to the house, y'all, the big house, or at least he thinks, right? So he figures Democrats have a black woman who's the vice president. I'm going to tell you this. I believe that Tim Scott was never serious about being president of the United States. Absolutely not. What he did was he ran to get the attention of Republicans, and so that he could be a valuable candidate to be put up against Kamala Harris, who we know would whip Tim Scott any day in a debate. Again, Tim Scott believes America is not racist, and this is a great country where racism doesn't exist. Again, this is a great country, but the idea that racism doesn't exist, I mean, stop. But so Tim Scott is endorsing Donald Trump and hopes that Donald Trump will say, Tim, will you be my vice president? Probably won't, but if he does, sad. And what a sad state will it be that this black man will now have sold his soul even further just to be named the vice presidential candidate. Who knows? There's no telling what else he will do. The Tim Scotts, the Clarence Thomases, the Byron Donalds, they're all the same. They continue to reaffirm that we know all our skin folk are not our kinfolk. So there you go. We'll see where this goes.
Is it with whoever, whatever I have to do? Every time I watch this video, I just be like, whoa, because Tim Scott does not even understand that Trump is pointing out how disloyal you really is. He's saying in front of the world that even though she appointed you to senator, started your political career, you endorsed me. He's up there saying, what a shame. And that's why you make a great politician. What a shame. Then you just mysteriously, after everyone was calling you out for being a single man and how, you know, when you run for president, normally these people aren't married. Now all of a sudden you're down on one knee for a white woman that we've never seen you with. We know that you a little questionable, you're a little... Tim Scott is exactly what we would call an Uncle Tom sellout, do whatever it takes to get there. I'll do whatever, whenever, with whoever, whatever I have to do.
Tim Scott had any pride and dignity left, Donald Trump just made him surrender it. My name is Charles Blow, an op-ed columnist at the New York Times. Take a look at this disturbing scene from last night's winning speech by Donald Trump in New Hampshire.
Did you ever think that she actually appointed you, Tim? And think of it, appointed, and you're the senator of his state, and she endorsed me. You must really hate her. No, it's a shame. It's a shame. Uh-oh.
I just love you.
No, that's why he's a great politician.
That is what happens when you make the toxic male your alpha male. And now you must bow and scrape and genuflect to appease him. You can have no dignity. You can have no honor. You can have no pride. You can have no sense of self-respect. I've never held Tim Scott in very high regard, and this is why. Let me know what you think.
Okay, this is really big news when it comes to Donald Trump and Tim Scott getting ready to formally endorse him. This is huge news. The reason why it's big is because this is a sitting United States senator. With Nikki Haley, no one really thought that she could really beat Donald Trump. Could give him a hard time if things went right in Iowa, maybe New Hampshire. But no one really thinks seriously that she could take Donald Trump down. However, the play behind the scenes is that if she could do well enough in these primaries, then she can make a case to be vice president, be on the ticket with Donald Trump. Basically saying, hey, if you want me, you need me to unite the party, both with Republican establishments and your MAGA side. The fact that the establishment, through Tim Scott, is already starting to come to Donald Trump signals to everyone that Donald Trump did what a lot of people didn't think anyone could do except for Donald Trump. That is unite the Republican Party, have the establishment pulling for him, and also MAGA Nation pulling for him, which translation to that means Nikki Haley's about toast.
Now, this whole clip just shows how Tim Scott wants to be the VP. He is literally playing the VP card, especially on the part he went like, I just love you too. Like, really? Now, let's talk about Donald Trump. First of all, Donald Trump was everything we all know he is now. He was that when he descended that golden staircase in June of 2015. But before that, people accepted a lot of craziness and a whole lot of R to the cis stuff in 2010, when the Tea Party was accepted and embraced as an immediate visceral reaction to the first black man being elected as president of the United States. But it was cute then because they were voting and helped to get the House, and it was cute then because it helped get the state legislature. But those people eventually grow up in the party, so the party becomes the crazy, and the party is the Trump's party, so there's no moral ground to be reclaimed now as some type of moderate Republican by voting for Nikki Haley. It's too late, because this craziness was already embraced years ago, and this is the natural consequence of that. So Nikki Haley winning the Hampshire could not have cured the cancer, because when you allow the cancer to get in, it eventually eats you up too, and it has. Now, Tim Scott, who dropped out of the 2024 presidential race in November, appeared on stage with Trump in New Hampshire to offer his backing ahead of next week's high-stakes primary in the state. We need a president who sees Americans as one American family, and that's why I came to the very warm state of New Hampshire to endorse the next president of the United States, President Donald Trump, Scott told Trump supporters in cold court on Friday. Now, Scott, whose unsuccessful campaign stressed the Christian faith and conservative values he learned growing up in a single-parent household, argued that Trump would cut taxes and bring Americans together as president. We need a president who unites our country, said Scott, who is the lone black Republican in the Senate. Now, Scott did not mention Nikki Haley, the former UN ambassador and governor of South Carolina, who first appointed Scott to the Senate in 2017. Now, Haley is hoping for a strong performance in New Hampshire on Tuesday to keep her presidential bid afloat following Trump's commanding victory in last week's lower caucuses. Now, Haley, who earlier on Friday won the endorsement of Vermont Governor Phil Scott, is trailing Trump by double digits in New Hampshire, with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis a distant third in the state. Now, in New Hampshire, Trump asked voters to help bring a swift end to the Republican race to allow him to focus on beating President Joe Biden in November. We want to win by big numbers, Trump said, so everybody has to vote. Now, Trump also bashed his rivals, arguing that Haley was not capable of being president and lambasting DeSantis' slide in the polls as one of the great self-destructions I think I've ever witnessed. Now, while introducing Scott to the stage, Trump said the senator gave him his endorsement 2 days ago. The decision to wait to publicly roll it out emphasizes how significant the Trump campaign views his support and its desire to play up his endorsement with as much fanfare as possible in the final days before the New Hampshire primary. Now, CNN previously reported that Trump had been in talks with Scott behind the scenes about winning his endorsement, according to multiple sources with knowledge of the talk. Now, Trump's inner circle had originally hoped that Scott would endorse before the South Carolina primary, sources familiar with internal discussion told CNN. The timeline was accelerated, however, as Haley saw a spike in the polls in New Hampshire. When asked about Scott's plans during a visit to a New Hampshire dinner on Friday, Haley replied, "We'll wait and see if it happens." She then ignored other questions on way out. Later Friday, she said in a statement, "Interesting that Trump's lining up with all the Washington insiders when he claimed he wanted to drain the swamp, but the fellas are gonna do what the fellas are gonna do." The former South Carolina governor did not know that Scott was planning to go ahead with the endorsement. A source close to Haley said Haley had called Scott in recent days to seek his endorsement in the 2024 race. A source familiar with the call confirmed. Now, people who know them both weren't surprised by Scott's decision to ultimately endorse the former president, but the timing of his endorsement 4 days before the New Hampshire primary was noted in both of their circles, given that Trump has been concerned about Haley's standing in the state. By announcing the endorsement ahead of the New Hampshire primary, Trump's team aims to paint Haley as disliked by the people who would theoretically know her best in her home state. Trump on Friday said Haley would probably not be his running mate should he win the Republican nomination, as he viciously attacked her ahead of the primary in the state. Now, she's not presidential timber. She's not presidential timber. Now, when I say that, that probably means that she's not going to be chosen as the vice president, Trump said participate at the campaign event. South Carolina Reps Russell Fry and William Timmons are also expected to campaign with the former president in New Hampshire this weekend. Fry told CNN as Trump's team launches a full court press against the former South Carolina governor. Now, this includes South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster, who will campaign with Trump in Manchester, New Hampshire on Saturday. While Trump's team has projected confidence that the former president will win the New Hampshire primary Tuesday, his advisors have admitted that they believe the margins are closer in the New Hampshire than any other early voting state. Now, Scott launched his presidential campaign in May and made his personal story a central narrative, often speaking about growing up in poverty in South Carolina, raised by a single mother. But after several months of failing to gain traction, the senator suspended his bid in November, and he told Fox News' Trey Gowdy at the time that he would not back another Republican candidate, saying he believed the best way for me to be helpful was to withhold an endorsement in the primary. Scott also said he had no intention of accepting a vice presidential nomination, reaffirming a position he had repeated frequently on the campaign trail. Now, throughout his campaign, Scott's criticism of Trump was relatively tame compared with his attacks on other primary contenders. He often expressed support for policies enacted during the Trump administration, but regularly argued that Trump lacked the support in key swing states needed to carry Republicans to victory in a general election. Now, prior to the 2024 campaign, Scott had long been friends and political allies Haley. In 2012, Haley appointed Scott to the vacant seat left by Sen. Jim DeMint, saying Scott had earned the seat from his personality and record. Following Scott's departure from the primary, several of Scott's financial backers quickly pivoted to Haley. We have come to the end of the video. Kindly share your own take on what you think about this video. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video.